big news, guys. Chechens attacked Russians in Melitopol. Kadyrov was also sent to the front line, and Russians are ready to give up Kherson region prematurely. But more about all of this in just a couple of minutes. What's up, investors? It's the Russian dude. And let's get straight to the point and talk about some ridiculous Russian propaganda. Today we first talk about Kadyrov. Not the father, but his son Adam Kadyrov, who recently was sent to the front line, not to fight but to give some medals and awards to the soldiers fighting against Ukrainians. I will not be surprised if Adam Kadyrov received another medal just for doing this. I mean, Ramzan Kadyrov gave medal to Adam Kadyrov for giving medals to his Chechens. I mean, that's okay. Adam Kadyrov already has like 7 awards just for existing, for breathing, for eating, for waking up in the morning, for going to sleep at night, for just being son of Kadyrov, I'm assuming, and maybe just for studying good in school, I have no idea. Long story short, he went to the front line and he started awarding medals, something what he's extremely proficient in doing. And I mean, yes, Ramzan Kadyrov, he does have more children than this Adam, but at this point I think it is pretty obvious who is his favorite son and who he wants to be the next president of Chechen Republic. And besides that, here is another video of also Chechens who are loading in the plane to be sent to the Ukrainian front lines. And they're basically saying, yes, we are good, we want to fight, we've been trained good, the clothes are warm, the food is delicious, we are ready to sacrifice our lives for the motherland. And no, we are not saying this because somebody is pointing guns at us behind the camera. We truly say it ourselves. And just to show that kinda these are the people from all around Russia, they gave them flags of some random places. Obviously there is a Russian flag, there is a Chechen flag, there is even a Soviet Union flag, and then there is a Kadyrov forces flag. So it's like, it shows you the illusion that the support for war is strong, which in reality it's far from truth. And just one last thing about Kadyrov's son Adam before we switch our attention to Chechens attacking Russians in Melitopol, is that I want to tell you that, guys, maybe unfortunately you will not receive so many medals and awards in your life, just like Adam Kadyrov for pretty much existing, but you can get a personal thank you from me. And all you need to do for this is to simply like this video and subscribe to my channel. That's it. You can also follow me on Instagram to see how I live outside of YouTube, the link is down below. And so yes, as we continue our topic about the Chechens, right here is a very curious and interesting and controversial situation that happened recently in Melitopol. Long story short, according to this video and the description from the witnesses and the local residents, is that Russian soldiers were kind of, let's say so, driving across Melitopol. They got stopped by Chechens, by Kadyrov Chechens, who started checking documents, asking them inappropriate questions, and then this became a very big conflict. Pretty much it is very obvious by everyone who has seen this video, by the locals, by the witnesses, that Chechens, Kadyrov Chechens, they did not like Russian soldiers, and not just these specific ones. In general, there is a very big troubles between Chechens and Russians, not just in Ukraine, but also on the territory of Russia, something that the Russian propaganda never talks about. According to the Russian propaganda, what you literally saw 2-3 minutes ago, Chechens are extremely happy, they are ready to sacrifice their lives for the motherland. But here is the video that shows true colors, it shows the reality of what is happening. And yes, throughout this pretty small video the conflict escalated very much and very fast. They even took out their weapons and there were some even shots recorded. There was not clear sight of whether somebody was injured or eliminated, but according once again to the people closer to this situation, there was some unfortunate events, unfortunate results for those Russians involved in this conflict. So basically it is relatively clear at this point to say that Chechens did attack Russians in Melitopol. And yes, just like I mentioned in the beginning of this part of the video, these were Kadyrov Chechens, which are supposedly the most loyal Chechens for the Russian army. Because you cannot forget about other Chechens, such as for example Sheikh Mansour battalion, who are openly opposing Russian invasion, and even Kadyrov himself, who are still fighting on the side of Ukraine against Russians every single day. But the Russian problems do not end here. You guys probably already know that there are going to be presidential elections in March of 2024, pretty much this year, in just a couple of months. So Putin is obviously running. Unfortunately, he's 99.9% gonna win. But a very interesting statement came to us from the election committee from Kherson region, which belongs to Russia. They basically said that the elections in this specific region will be held prematurely. They mentioned the main reason for this. It is because this region is very hardly accessible. It is extremely complicated to access people living on these territories, especially the left side of Kherson region, the left side of Dnipro, which is still under the control of Russia. So, if you think about it, why they are doing this? Why there is only premature elections in Kherson, but not also in Crimea, not in Zaporozhye, not in Donetsk, and not even Luhansk regions, which are also the frontline bordered regions in Ukraine. And my personal assumption is that the reason why they want to hold premature elections in these specific regions, in this specific region, it is because Ukrainians are pretty successful, especially in Krinky, laying the bridgehead and crossing, and Russians do not feel that confident that they will be able to hold it in the near future. Yes, there is much more Russians in the east, for example in Avdiivka and in Bakhmut, but not as many of them in Kherson region. So if Ukrainians are even more successful in the future, if they start bringing even more soldiers and military vehicles, this is exactly what might happen. They start taking land by land, foot by foot, meter by meter, kilometer by kilometer, and then they will simply not have time to ask those people who they are voting for. And then it will also be very untrustworthy whenever these people vote for Putin. That is why they want to do it while they still can, while this region is still under the occupation by Russians. So after all I just said, I think it is relatively makes sense to make a conclusion that Russians are ready to give up Kherson region prematurely in case it is needed. They will most likely try to protect it, to defend it, but they are themselves who kinda realize that it might not be as easy as it seems, and maybe they will have to surrender it, give it up, or leave it as they should before something escalation, as the big escalations begin, so they can concentrate their efforts more in the east, where they have more chances. So just yeah, guys, please let me know down below in the comments if something what I just said makes sense. Also, there is a promotion right now on my Patreon. You can subscribe for the entire year with 10% discount, which comes at less than $45 for the entire year, where you'll be getting daily extra footage and hundreds of photos and extra videos every single week. Besides that, Patreon is also the place where you'll be receiving early access to fully uncensored episodes of The Russian Dude every single day. The link to my Patreon is down below. This is extremely good support for the channel, so guys, thank you so much. Also, thanks so much for watching, and see you tomorrow.